Hello, nice to meet you. I'm Andrew Coningsby. I'm owner of the Coningsby Gallery, and I'm here to talk with Beth Taubner for you about an exhibition called Only When I Dream, which Beth and I have been working on for 2 years. The exhibition starts on the 30th of August, runs until the 10th of September. The private view, to which you're very welcome, is on Wednesday the 31st of August. And the gallery will be open on Saturday, 3rd of September, and it would be great to meet you.
I'm so excited to be here and doing this project with Andrew. I realize as I've gotten further and further into the project that the roots were in my childhood, because I grew up in New York City and my mother used to take me to the Museum of Modern Art. And I had this kind of breathless anticipation to get into the painting rooms where I could be transported elsewhere. I would see the jungles of Rousseau, the places that he dreamed of but had never been. And Odile, Redon, I may be massacring the French, I'm sorry. This beautiful kind of ethereal quality, another kind of dreaming. And then Matisse's Red Room, which was my favorite painting in the museum, and I could project myself into that room, into that place, into that color. It was, again, another way of being transported. So that has crystallized for me in the process of the months that we've been working on putting the show together. And we have a group of unbelievable artists whose work really speaks to this theme, references as seen through their eyes. And as the show developed and as the artists kind of coalesced, we found that a lot of the work had to do with the natural world, but frequently from a very, very different approach.
Yeah.
So I'm interested, because you do so many different kinds of shows and you have a very broad taste in art. Why did this concept appeal to you?
Well, I think the last 3 or 4 years have been really quite interesting times for a lot of people. And I think a lot of people have had more time to sort of reflect more deeply about their lives and their future and the future of society. And I kind of think that they've had more experiences kind of along the lines of the theme of the exhibition, Only When I Dream. So I think it's very timely.
I agree with you. I think it is timely because we need to get out of our everyday life. There's a lot of pressure. That's one reason, but also because it's a universal theme. And without making it sentimental, it's the kind of theme that we all experience, but always in a different way. The world of dreams can feel so ephemeral, but it's not just our nighttime dreams, it's also about our waking dreams. And so I thought we could start by talking about the artists.
Yeah.
And first I wanted to talk about Claire Rosen. Claire Rosen is an incredible fine art conceptual photographer based in New Jersey. So, but don't hold that against her. She has been widely exhibited for her work, which is really explores everything from how we anthropomorphize animals to the botanical world, but really looking historically at what our relationship has been to the natural world, so that progressively, as we got to the time of the Victorians, where we were putting our collections under glass and in cabinets like little curios, and putting birds in cages, and also, women were trimming their hats with bird feathers, and some birds were going extinct from this kind of fashionable approach to mining the natural world. So we're showing a body of work that she's done on birds of prey. And I thought that was really interesting because she's not shooting them in their natural environment. she's constructing an environment, and she's like an animal whisperer, a bird whisperer. She waits and waits to see between the relationship between the bird and the gesture and these vintage and historic backgrounds that she's collected. And I thought that Birds of Prey would have a lot of meaning in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think so?
Yes, I think people in the UK, just driving along a motorway or something, we have a lot of birds of prey now after numbers recovered in the sort of 60s, 70s. So, yeah, I think there's quite a close affinity between the British public and birds of prey.
Yes,
sure.
Owls. I mean, just, I know there's many different kinds of owls, some of which you will see when you come to the gallery. Another piece that we're showing from Claire is from her series called Fantastical Feasts. And this is really about the world of dreaming, about conjuring a whole other world that doesn't really exist. And she's gone around the world for many, many years. As I say, she's like an animal whisperer. And she creates a banquet for different species. And we're showing one on tortoises. And that is almost like a storybook world. But again, it doesn't exist in the real world. It is something that is definitely a dream that she has about another way of experiencing the animal and certainly avian world. Yeah, so moving along, we thought that we would talk also a little bit about next up is Gina Glover. Ooh. Do you want to talk a little bit about Gina? She's been exhibiting for quite a long time. She's quite a well-known artist here in the UK. She was the founder of Photo Fusion. She's been the recipient of many awards and grants. And she's the perfect person to explore this concept with. Over to you.
I haven't got much to say really, except I am really haunted by the photo of the girl on the beach in the red coat. It is kind of a timeless photograph. It's kind of the way you remember, one remembers a trip to the seaside, but it could be the 19th century or it could be early 21st century. I love the kind of diffuse mist of that. It's very striking.
The body of work is called Liminal Worlds, and so it's really about the place between reality and dreams. And so the entire body of work is not literal. While there may be objects or people, it's a dreamscape for sure, and it's a place where exactly things are diffuse. They're not described, they're inferred. And so that is extremely powerful. You're not there to look at every feather on the bird. You're saying, why is there an overturned bucket on a beach? Where are we? What world are we entering? It feels like the fabric between us and the dream world is extremely thin in her images, which I really love. I was very, very excited that she wanted to take part in our exhibition. Then we're going to talk about Sam Falconer, who is an extraordinary illustrator that Andrew suggested that we include. So do you want to talk a bit about his role in the show? I just want to say is that I see him as the carrier of joy. It's a place that he inhabits, which is extremely dreamlike of what goes on in our heads. I think it was Plato who said that our minds are like an aviary, and we have to have dreams in our head. And Sam does that for me. Yeah, he's very talented, very talented. So I'm really delighted to be bringing him on for this particular exhibition. He did have a one-person show at the gallery
a few years ago, which was very successful.
So one thing that we love so much about his work is that inside the head of a dog, for example, might be, not in a literal way again, flowers bursting forth, birds, streams, fish, and it's in this active, rushing flow that goes straight into our brains and our hearts, and it feels so stimulating and such a beautiful ride.
Yeah, very colourful. Very colourful.
Yeah, very exciting work. Then we move on to Leeming and Paterson. So Ted Leeming and Morag Paterson. They're based in Scotland and Italy. They've been doing this project that they started, I think, 12 years ago called Zero Footprint. Zero Footprint, they shot in Scotland from, what would you say that is? And I know it in inches. How large would that space be? Not much larger than this piece of paper. They shot every single day from the same perspective behind their house. And you see the world unfolding in front of you. It's so dynamic and beautiful, exciting. And you see the changes in the environment and the dynamic changes in the weather, but it doesn't feel, again, it's not landscape photography in the sense that it's descriptive. It's moving you somewhere. Could I be there? Could I project myself into that place? What does it feel like? What were they thinking when they took those pictures? And they work together, and they're working on a new body of work about Zero Footprint, and we will be showing some artifacts from that current work. And then they work separately. They each have a separate practice. Morag, who is incredibly dynamic, has been working on a project called Ode to Pluto, and it was a real journey for her into memory, because she found her grandfather's paints and she started integrating them into her photographic practice. And it kind of was not a literal, again, description of her relationship with her grandfather or what her grandfather did, but a coming together of this place of memory. And Ted's work, Ted is, as long as I've known him and worked with him, he's been a very active climate change, committed climate change.
Campaigner?
More than campaigner, very, very involved in that world while being a fine artist for many, many years. And the work that we're showing is from a body of work that he's done, which is called What Keeps Me Up at Night, and that's another aspect of our dreaming. So the work is, what do you say, so based in a real place. That's what you had said earlier about Ted's work.
Yeah.
A real location.
It's a real location, but it's kind of a location that's sort of under threat in a way, or it might have even passed away. It's haunting work.
Haunting, for sure. There's a mist. We don't know exactly where we are. It's that sense, if you've ever had a dream, which I had these dreams when I was a child, where there would be fog or a mist in the place where I lived, so you couldn't see your way clear exactly, but there's still a sense of place. And I felt that it was important to have this point of view in the show as well, because we have the counterpoint of Sam and the Ode to Joy, and then Ted, and he's like, well, really have to think about what's going on at night, because it's so beautiful, and yet all is not as it seems. And that is very frequent place that we're in when we're dreaming. Then we have amazing Carol Sharp. So Carol Sharp I've known also for many years. She's a very talented multimedia artist who started as a photography with who is very, very interested in the ecology of plants and our relationship to the plant world. And I saw a project that she did a few years ago, which was done alongside the Chelsea Flower Show. And she had a guitarist come, and she hooked these, I don't know if they're electrodes, sensors, to the trees around her, and you could see and hear exactly how the trees were responding to the music. And so it's been a really interesting project, also technically, for us to get involved in, showing in the gallery, and she will be doing a new piece of work for the gallery. She's very, very knowledgeable about the world of trees and plants. It's kind of very much part of her family.
Yeah, this is going to be a video available as well, isn't it? Which will be interesting.
Yeah, video in the sense that you'll be able to buy the video, which will look like a framed photograph, and then you'll be able to watch her extraordinary videos play. And then we wanted to also talk about Martin O'Neill, who is another illustrator that Andrew knows quite well. We're showing work of his that is like a reimagined Garden of Eden.
You probably got a better feel for it than me, but yeah, I can't really make a comment about that.
Okay.
I love the work. I mean, it's a cornucopia, isn't it?
A cornucopia.
Of a wide range of forms.
And references, again, botanical references, references from different time periods. I think he takes a lot of found art, lithographs, engravings, and he brings them together in this very elegant, constructed universe that feels both historic and current. So he brings a lot to the show. So we hope you'll be able to join us again. Andrew will give you the details.
Yeah, Wednesday the 31st of August, I think we kick off at 6 o'clock. And it'll be an amazing show, eight different sort of artists exhibiting. So I think there'll be some work there which will be of interest to actually anyone who comes.
In our universal theme. Well, our party is on the 31st and the show opens on the 30th.
30th Tuesday, yeah.
And then runs through September 10th, which is with a Saturday view as well. So we hope that you'll join us. And
some of the artists as well will be there.
Oh yes, and you'll be able to meet the artists on the 31st, which will be a real treat for you, and really explore their point of view with them, and your point of view as well, as people who dream. Thanks for joining. I'm Beth Taubner. This is Andrew Coningsby. Nice to see you.